Hello and welcome to MxMLive. We are here with Mr. Dheeraj Sinha, who is president of the Ad Club and CEO of McCann India. Welcome to MxMLive. Dheeraj, how are you?
Great to be here, Pradyuman. And always a pleasure talking to you. So I'm looking forward to a great conversation.
Gabfest 2026 is happening from tomorrow.
Yeah.
Since this is going to appear on Tuesday. Is that something that should we all be happy about? Should we all be surprised about the fact that it's happening, given all the crazy things that are happening around the world?
Yeah. No, I'm excited about it. And while we're all part of Gabfest, specifically for the Ad Club and the Abby's event, with what's gone around in last couple of months, I'm extremely excited about it, Pradyuman. These are not easy times for the industry, right? For all the headlines that are being written around acquisition, structuring, AI is going to take away all advertising jobs, and so on and so forth, right? And if you look at it against that context, right, and just to give you some data, when I look at Abby entries, about 4,000 plus, which is in the similar zone as last year. When I look at number of entrants, about 275 entrants at Abby's, right, versus about 250 odd last year, right? I think I'm extremely encouraged and have a lot of gratitude for everything around, because the numbers are only going up, which means that there must be something nice happening to our industry as well, despite all the debilitating headlines.
Tell me, but as somebody who's been running agencies for a while now,
yeah,
awards can be a fairly a big drain on the P&L, right?
I mean, there is a cost to awards. There is cost to everything. But in most of the agency CEO roles that I've played, whether at Burnett or FCB and now McCann, I have a strong belief in awards, right? But I have a belief in awards not for the sake of awards. I think awards do a couple of things. They set the benchmark for the creative and strategic work in the agency. But you have to win awards for the right reasons. You have to win it for your real clients, for real work, for the client, for the work which moves the needle for the client. So my thing is that I should get my clients promoted and my agency famous. And if you align the two agendas, then awards is a great thing.
The unfortunate or the reality is that not everybody thinks like you, right? People do send in entries which are, as they call, proactive, or
I think I would say in last about 5 to 10 years, Pradyuman, and increasingly more so every year, I think that needle is shifting because increasingly there's a lot of emphasis on impact, on effectiveness, on scale of the idea, right? And it's not just about being able to enter, it's about something which smells of scam, gets killed even in the jury room, because the flavor, the environment right now is there is so much effort in the industry which goes in producing real work for real clients. And everybody now, and in this year, I'm also on the jury of Cannes Lions, and I'm on the jury of IPA effectiveness, and on the APAC jury, I'm heading the jury. The conversations across the board, Pradyuman, is about let's look at work which is moving the needle for clients, real work. And that flavor is all over the place. You can't escape that. Which is not to say that some work here and there done proactively may escape the thing. But largely, I think the fraternity and the community is aligned on what works for clients, what works for brands should win.
That's the question which I want to ask you, that you are on various international juries this year, and you have been on juries last year, and you've been on juries for Indian awards as well. How would you rate the Abby jury process? I know it's a wrong question to ask you, because you'll obviously give a positive thing, but if you have to, as a professional, look at how the Abby judging compares, or how the Indian judging compares with the rest of the world.
So Pradyuman, let me give you a bit of a context of what we've done with Abby's this year.
Yeah, you have One India, of course, which is one show which is there.
Yes. So in fact, a lot of initiatives have happened this year for Abby's in the light of the ad club that we are building. So I'll just take a bit of a step back and talk about the ad club we're building this year, right? I mean, early this year when we formed the committee, we made sure it was a very diverse committee. We had people from clients, we had folks from platforms such as Snapchat, Google, etc. So what it does is it builds a diverse set of voices on the committee, right? And therefore, we're saying we are custodian of an ad club committee which is 70 years old. We are custodian of an Abby's brand which is 55 years old. This is 57th year of Abby's, right? So of course, there's a legacy and a heritage and a trust that we are responsible for. But we are also navigating both these platforms to future. So for example, on Abby's, we've now this year brought Ernst& Young as a whole process lead, not just an award auditor. Which is what it used to be till last year. So they are looking at the whole process of judging, jury. They've been in the jury rooms. They're looking at conversations, objections. They're part of the tallying. Because for me, it's very important that any award show is above par in terms of credibility and trust. So we've done that one piece. What we've also done is we have talked. We had a very deep conversation with the top creative leaders, Pradyuman, of the industry. We had a closed door 3-hour session where the top creative leaders actually advised on how we can kind of refurbish Abby's as an award. I know the biggest recommendations which came from there was that we must include clients. Right. So this year at Abby's, for every trophy given, there's a client trophy which is getting given. There's a client of the year award which has been instituted. Right. Thirdly, we included all these creative leaders to help us refurbish the categories. So for a change, we'll have commerce, data, B2B, SDG goals as categories, right? And finally, we have 4 international jury chairs joining us this time, and almost all our jury chairs from India have judged and chaired global awards. So to your question, right, what it does, Pradyuman, is it places Abby's at par with global award shows, right? And I've actually been on the recipient end of that from Burnett and FCB, where the work which entered at Abby's actually won globally as well, right? And from that perspective, to my mind, it's a platform built in India, but for the world in terms of judging, in terms of tie-up with one show, in terms of new categories we've entered, and all the initiatives which have gone into Abby's this year.
You know, this meeting with creative heads of various organizations has been a process which has been followed for many years as part of the preview, as part of the preparatory work for the Abbey. But you know, one of the things which is there, and one of the things which I have voiced in the past as well, is if you look at the Abbey, the advertising club committee, you know, in the managing committee, well, there are some creative people, but it is, you know, now a mixed bag of people. So is that what the creative process is today, or is that, you know, by design that you don't have too many people from creative as part of the advertising club itself?
See, that was the reason that we created an extended committee of CCOs from key agencies to come and advise us for Abby's, because Abby's in particular is a creative award, right? I mean, the ad club's agenda is beyond just the creative award as well. And I just want to add, Pradyuman, that every year we would do a large town hall of like many people would join, and it's a slightly unfocused conversation and commentary on what's not working for Abby's. And I've been part of those town halls. Typically, the advice would be, can we increase our social media presence, and can our posts look better? Yes, of course, we've done that work as well, because we got Landor in to refurbish our identity. We got Socheers in as our social media agency. But this conversation was deeper because we had about 8 or 10 chief creative officers in a closed door, really putting forward their ideas and owning the platform to say, this is our homegrown award show and we want to make it better. And therefore, to my mind, it was a deeper exercise and led to greater ownership from the creative fraternity.
The question which I guess has been asked to every ad club president, every awards governing council chief over the last 15 years, I would say, is you know, the moot question about the participation of agencies.
Yeah.
And you know, you worked with the big agencies yourself. You've been part of the WPP fold as well.
Yeah.
You know that agencies are not participating. Not everybody is participating.
Yeah.
They may be participating. The entries may be participating through other means, but the agency as an entrant is is not always there. Low Lintas, which had some issues, did come into did come in as an entrant, but Ogilvy still doesn't participate. So
Yeah.
is that has that changed? Is that going to change? And what will make it change?
So honestly, Pradyuman, from the time that I have taken over as president of the Ad Club, and this year when we look at FEs or Abbeys, if you look at Abbeys, 275 entities, Pradyuman, have participated. And for a moment, we have to respect that number, because between you and me, we won't be able to count as many creative and media agencies. You may be able to count more. I may be able to count 10, 12, 20 agencies. I did not know we have 275 organizations in the ambit of advertising, creative production, data content companies who have participated. So my view on this is that the platform is now hugely respectable. When I was leading Leo Burnett about 5 to 6 years back, we decided to come to Abby's because of the one show tie-up, and we've been very happy with the awards, the way they were conducted. We've been participating. Then I went to FCP, we participated. Now we're at McCann, we are participating. So if you ask me broadly, but in a particular year, a particular agency may decide not to participate because of internal issues, profitability, not having enough work, and that's totally okay. I mean, 1 year might be good for me, 1 year may not be. But at a large level, I don't think we are now worried about participation at Abbeys, because to my mind, it's fantastic. It's hugely represented by everybody that matters.
But the presence of the big guns, and even for the smaller fries to be winning along with the big guns and beating the big guns is always is a plus, right? What is your view?
I would say all big guns who matter are there,
but there are some who are not, who matter and who are not there.
See, that's fine. See, that's individual choice. Somebody may choose to stay out of a platform, and they might have their own internal considerations. I won't be able to comment on that. But I think I think we should respect. We should respect the presence and power of all other big guns who are there, who matter a lot, and who are doing great work, and so on and so forth. So I would go with believers on platforms like this.
So let's move on, because I think this is a question which perhaps not everybody has an answer to, or may never have. But
Yeah.
you mentioned about the Client of the Year award.
Yeah.
You introduced, and this came in from feedback from people within the industry. Now, while Client of the Year exists in the media, Abby, and Client of the Year exists with the FEs, what made you introduce it here? And more importantly, will the winning agencies, will the winning clients be there to accept the award?
So it's a beginning of an initiative, Pradyuman, right? Which comes from a great realization that our industry is nothing without the clients, right? So the work we do has to matter to clients, right? And if the work is being done independent of that consideration, then really we don't care for it much. So from that perspective, there's a client trophy. For every trophy, like FEs, there's a client trophy and an agency trophy, and there's a Client of the Year award. We do hope that many clients come to Gabfest and come for the award this year. But this is the beginning. I'm sure with this initiative on the table, we'll have much more inclusive participation from our marketing folks.
Tell me, in terms of people who are coming in, are there any highlights that you would like to talk about in terms of the clients who are there?
See, I wouldn't have that list yet because that's more run by AAFI and Gabfest committee. So we will really know there. But the effort, even in the programming of the Gabfest, has been to include clients, to get them on board, to have a conversation that matters to the clients as well, and not just to the creative advertising and media fraternity.
You said about clients being there, etc., and they will be there to attend. And as a first step, it's a good idea, of course, that to also invite clients, because they are part of that ecosystem. They are part of your ecosystem. So, are your clients, for instance, the McCann clients and etc., are they going to be there?
Yeah, some of them are going to be there. Yeah, some of them are going to be there. There are other clients who are coming as speakers. So there's a wider outreach to see as many clients as they can come. But Pradyuman, these are initiatives, right? Once they begin, they gain. I mean, say Can started to invite clients and be strong on them about a decade ago. And today, if you see the participation of clients at Can, it's mammoth, it's huge, right? So some of this takes time, but I think we're in the right direction on that piece.
You have introduced quite a few new categories over here. Is there something that you would like to talk about, something that you're more excited about?
Yeah, absolutely. So we did a couple of things, Pradyuman. We took help of all the creative leaders to get their teams to evaluate all the categories, because some of the categories looked very ancient. They were created about a decade ago and there was no revision to this. So we've done a revision of the categories. We've let go of what we felt was no longer required. We've clubbed some of the categories. So, for example, the red and the green Abbey have been clubbed together to become the Sustainable Development Goals category. And that aligns with global award shows. We brought in the B2B category. We brought in a data category. We brought in a commerce category. So the initiative has been to reflect the modern marketing categories, because the industry has shifted, right? Brands today get built through influencer, social, IPs, as much as they get built through creative and mainline. And therefore, to reflect the change of the consumer landscape and the marketing landscape, we've introduced these new categories, which makes us at par with global awards and with the way the world is changing. In media, for example, there are categories around AI and innovation. Now, how much work is getting done, we're not worried about that. But our belief is that as Ad Club and as Abbeys, we have to be ahead of the curve. And some of the participation may come with a lag effect. Some of the participation has already come this year. So very gratified on that.
The way the structure is, for instance, digital, which is the mainstay of the way the advertising business is on day two of the awards process, right? It's not on the last one, not on the final day.
Yeah. So honestly, in my mind, there is no hierarchy of day one, day two, day three. I mean, we're all, everybody like yourself and me and Ajay and everybody's present right from the beginning, right? To my mind, that's a matter of scheduling. And if you tell me that it makes sense to get digital on day three, we can do that. Because in my mind, there's no hierarchy at all on that.
I'm going to ask you to do a difficult thing now. Tell me, who do you think will be winning this year?
We have no idea, Pradyuman, honestly, as Ad Club.
As a professional, forget, I'm asking you as a professional of the ecosystem.
Yeah, I won't be able to comment on that at all, Pradeep, because as Ad Club and as Abby's right custodians, Ajay Kakkar or me or any of the committee members, we are not privy either to any of the jury.
No, I know that. I know precisely,
or the data.
which is why I'm able to ask you this question, because if I knew that you were privy, then I wouldn't have asked you this question. But which are the advertising campaigns that you think, let me put it this differently, do you think will be big ones this year?
I haven't given that much of a thought, but I think there's a great body of work which has come out of agencies such as Enormous, FCB, McCann included. And I think, say that it all work from McCann or the government work from McCann. Those are interesting pieces. The Lahori Jira pieces from Enormous again. So I think those are some notable work which come to my mind. There might be others which I'm missing out because I haven't honestly given this a thought.
Do you see that, given the fact that you have a Hindustan Unilever which is talking about shifting a fair amount of its spends on influencers, do you see the day when an agency which is into influencer marketing being perhaps the agency of the year because of the campaign work being done on influencers?
See, that's a hard one to say, Pradyuman, but I do feel that a few years from now, you will see greater consolidation, right? So probably you will not have standalone influencer agencies or production houses and so on and so forth. My sense is, and that's what I try to build both at Burnett and then at FCB, we try to create an integrated model where you can go from strategy to creative to social to digital to influencer to production to media, all of it inside in one shot. And therefore the clients get one throat to choke and they get one curator of the entire consumer journey. I'm sticking my neck out and saying that's the future of advertising, really. Those will be the agencies of the future. So you will see consolidation, and for sure, one of the agencies which does influencer very, very well, but also does mainline and strategy and digital and production will become the agency of the year.
This is not a question which perhaps should be asked to you, but um, uh, after I spoke with Sundar Swami, I received a press release about tier two and tier three participation. And I thought it's best to ask you because there's nobody who knows tier two, tier three India better than Mr. Dheeraj Sinha, who's written some books on the topic. So tell me more about this whole tier two, tier three India participation in the Abbey, attending the Goa Fest this year.
Yeah. See, I wouldn't be able to comment about attending the Goa Fest, but if you look at 275 companies, Pradyuman, they're definitely not coming from Bombay and Delhi, right? Because we know they're countable organizations in these two cities. So the long tail of participation, right, and which is increasing every year. So for sure, it's coming from tier two, tier three towns, right? And I think the contribution of tier two, tier three is not just organizations which are located there, but also talent. Right, a large part of the talent of the agencies, even in the metros today, is coming from there. Some of them are working remotely, some of them are working from there, or some of them have transitioned here. So the tier two, tier three revolution is real, right? A lot of the tier two, tier three, in fact, for example, the city you live in is actually not tier two, tier three anymore. It's tier one, right? They have transformed to become tier one. So that revolution is real and it's in our face.
Well, you have one of India's best-known singers, Arijit Singh, who comes from a small town and stays there. So, do you think somebody an agency from say Etawah, Murshidabad, or Tirunelveli also being there? Do you think, as somebody who tracks um, uh, trends across tier two, the hinterland?
Yeah. See, I think it's two-sided. I think there are agencies which are in the space of, say, social media, LinkedIn reputation building, performance marketing, etc., which are coming up from tier two, tier three. In terms of very serious pacemaker agencies which are working with large brands, transforming them, unfortunately, it's Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, which continues to be the taste-making capitals of India. And that's where most of the D2C brands are residing. That's where most of the VC money is happening. In the cafes in Bangalore over Bene Dosa is where the funding conversation is happening, and you can't take that away. So I would say, yes, in some parts they're coming up, but you cannot in a country like India take away the powerhouse of a Bangalore or a Gurgaon or a Bombay.
Given the fact that you have media entities, and I know I'm digressing, but I'm just trying to get you to, since I'm interviewing you, and you're the best person to ask. But given the fact that media entities in tier two India, in North India, for instance, is there, and just as you spoke about Beni Dosa, they could well be discussing strategies over Litti Chokha.
100%. Yes. I think that awareness is coming. It is slow. I mean, my own hometown, Bihar, right? Every time I go there, I wish all of us could do more, contribute more, right? Is there change? Yes, there is change. Some of my friends are being part of it, helping it. We are all willing to, but it's slow. In some parts, slow.
So would you, as the ad club president, and and as a person who's associated with the advertising fraternity, also look at perhaps these areas as catchment areas, and eventually what you are interested in is ensuring that the all creative professionals of this country are participating, and beyond Mumbai, Gurgaon, Gurugram, and Bengaluru. But is that something that you could perhaps look at, and perhaps take your road shows to wherever in Bihar, in Patna, and
No, absolutely. That's a great provocation, and that's been one of the agendas of the ad club as well, because we are very clear that we are about the whole industry, right? We are not. Therefore, I think sometime back the ad club changed its name. It used to be Ad Club of Mumbai, and that name Mumbai was dropped on a similar provocation like yourself. So we see ourselves as the ad club of India, and therefore democratization is a big agenda for us. Right now, we have 275 companies entering, which is gratifying. But for sure, one of the key agendas of ad club is to widen its net and be more accessible, more reachable to smaller towns, mid towns, and have representation from there.
You said something, and I'm going to, sorry to put you into a spot on this. When MxM was launched on September 9th, 2011, we carried a story where our first big story, as we call it, was with Shashi Sinha, and he spoke about the dropping of Bombay.
Yeah.
But you know better, how many ad club events happen beyond Bombay and Delhi and Bangalore.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned you're from Bihar. So where are you from in Bihar?
Patna.
Patna. So let's look at having something in Patna, Balia, Chapra, wherever. Ara, Balia, Chapra.
Maybe with some serious protection.
With some serious protection, and well, it's not that bad. You go there, I go there. I go to a place called Chapra, and it's as safe as one can get.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think we can do that, Pradyuman. But to that point, I think last year we took Decode, which is the biggest digital platform, to Gurgaon last year, and it's going to happen again this year out of Gurgaon. So we are consciously shifting some of our large marquee IP events outside of Bombay. And in fact, when and this happened in Rana's presidency, and all credit to him and Mansha and Satya, that they decided to take it to Gurgaon, and the participation was fabulous. And everybody warned us, Pradyuman, that Delhi, but nobody turns up, and so on and so forth. But it was overflowing. So
I'm delighted that it's there. But clearly, I think the fact that people can be participating, and this has just come from a communique that I received about tier 2, tier 3 India. So clearly, there's a market there.
100%.
Clearly, there's advertising which is there across media entities. But great to speak to you, Dheeraj, and all the best for the world we live in, and for Gabfest 2026 and for IP 2026.
Thank you so much. I'm excited about it. Thank you for all the provocation. Thank you for being part of the industry, and see you in Goa.
Very much. Look forward. Bye.